those are the exact sorts of things that I'm thinking about, right? Sometimes we, especially in the entrepreneurial space, we operate really, really singularly. And it's a really, especially in what I like to refer to as year zero, it's an extremely isolated space. And so finding other people can be really difficult that you can relate to, because usually our friends and family cannot relate to the stress that we are experiencing and putting ourselves through willingly in the entrepreneurial space, especially in year zero, probably to like year three, honestly. And it's really hard, and a lot of times we don't find resources, we don't know where to go in that early space, right? And then, in that space as well, together, like we can talk about economically, right? We can talk about our business ownership and how we serve the rest of our community and the ecosystem that Jennifer has talked about last week. Uh, for me, living in my power really resonates on multiple levels. And that space professionally is the power that I have to mentor people and to use my own experiences to show people which way and how to get past a lot of the blockages and fears that they have in my professional space, especially in water. Also in the power that I have personally, just how I affect people as I move through the world, how I affect my kids, how I affect my partner, how I affect my mother, the decisions that I'm making and what I need to improve on, because I can see the changes, or I can see, people's responses, good and bad. So I think those are kind of the things that come to mind first. I will pass it off to Mr. Paul Jackson, because I notice he always ends up being one of the last people to go. So
well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. So I'm recording this, actually. I'm using OBS Studios. So everything that shows up on my screen, video and audio, I can capture. So I'm doing that. And I'll put it up to my YouTube channel. Let's see. The prompt is... Let me go back here to the chat.
I'll type it in right now.
No, it's already... It's okay. I got it. It's in the chat. Let's see it. What does better together mean to you or to me? And how can we connect that to living powerfully? Well, better together, I'm thinking of historically, like the Black Panther Party, the US group back in the 60s and 70s, very powerful organizations, the Student Nonviolence Committee, those types of things have joined us together to overcome some obstacles that were happening from the U.S. government side. Unfortunately, the U.S. government, the FBI, COINTELPRO, stuff like that, kind of dissolved it. But I'm actually talking to some of the Seattle chapter members of the Seattle Black Panther Party. They've done over 50 years. They're not functioning anymore, but the original members are still living. Some of them are. Unfortunately, a lot of the other members, some of them are still in jail. And a lot of them have been retired, have been missing. But yeah, it's about being together. And the African saying, if you want to go quickly, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go together. I think that's the way it was said. And so, yeah, but building community is definitely something that needs to be done. Unfortunately, we have a lot of stereotypes, a lot of impressions, the whole colorism thing, ageism thing, the whole LGBTQ thing. And so that limits us if we let it. And so that's one of the prompts, one of the hazards, I think. The other question, let's see, the second one. What does better together mean to me? And how can I connect that to what I'm doing?
Really, you can just answer the question, Paul, real simply. What does living powerfully mean to you? Why is it better that we do this work together? You answered that. What does that concept, what does living powerfully, what does that mean to you?
Living powerfully means that I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. And nobody's going to ask me any questions because, I'm retired now. I have the advanced degree and stuff. And so actually this weekend, my wife is going to do a paint and sip and some other paint activities at Freight House Square over the weekend. There's also a not a black market, but a market this weekend at the square. So we're going to be a part of that also. Incidentally, she's going to do a pumpkin paint activity Saturday evening from like maybe 6 to 8:30 or so. And so that's going to be pretty interesting. And so again, what does it mean to me? I'm trying to work, help her out and do those things. I'm doing a lot of streaming video and interviews and such. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see it. Actually, I'm a member of the Meaningful Movies that puts on free movies that are kind of politically. And so they did a screening yesterday, and I was there over the internet recording the talkback. And that's on my YouTube channel. And so, yeah. So just doing work, making positive inputs, trying to share the knowledge, and letting people know what's going on. So I pass the hat. Hopefully I answered the question. Was that good enough, Dr. Tracy?
Awesome. David Long just gave me a thumbs up, so David, it's on you. Why is it better that we do this work together, and what does living powerfully
Dr. Tracy, we have to do it together. The reason being is because a chain can't move unless all the links are connected. I'm a bike rider kid, so I've been, I still feel like I'm a kid. I may not be a kid officially, but I feel like a kid. And I'm a bike rider kid. I've been riding my bike since I was little. And when we were little, when your chain would break, you literally would have to put your chain back together so you'd get your hands all greasy. But you had to take that little piece and the two edges and put it together and then wrap it around and connect it. And then once that one little link was connected, your bike would work. So the reason why we have to do it together is because it will not work unless we do it together. As well, if you look at just, no offense, there's, how do I say this politely? Stereotypes are stupid. So I don't really live in the stereotype world because if you acknowledge, adapt, or live with stereotypes, and it's hard, I ain't gonna lie, it's hard for me to do, and I work on it daily, but then you're putting yourself in that position, right? My grandpa used to always say, don't deal with stupid, because people can't tell who's stupid from a distance. You can't deal with people that are dumb, because when you're arguing with them, you both look dumb. So, anyway, I digress. The reason why we have to do it together is because there really is no stereotype when we decide, hey, I'm going to work with you. I don't care who you are, what you're about. Your energy connects with my energy, and we're on the same path, and we have a similar goal. Let's work together. There's no egos. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It doesn't matter who gets the glory. Let's just be successful. The most successful people are the people that are in the background that we don't even see on TV or that we hear about. There's people that are really changing the world in ways that we don't even really realize it because they're just working with whoever will go in the direction that they want to achieve a goal. So that's why I feel like we have to work together. And living powerfully basically is just doing that daily, right? Like, days suck. I'm not gonna lie. We're all human beings. There are days that stink, and it's okay. For those that know me, you may not know, actually I forgot about that. My sister was in a coma, right? Last week was tough. But God is good. First of all, my sister's home. She's in recovery. She literally went from dead to alive. So I don't care what you say. My God is doing things. But besides that, the power that we live in each day is about how can we change right now? Who can I affect in a positive way right now? It may not be a ton of people, but if I can affect one person in a positive way right now, then I'm doing something correctly, right? And, yesterday was a tough day. I had a great event. Thank you, Douglas, for coming out. Tiara, thank you for joining me on Zoom. I put the link in the chat for my next one. My next one will be June 7th at the Skyway Library. We'll have another one in mid-June up north at the Northgate Library, and then I'm working on one right now in Tacoma and Federal Way for late June, early July. If there's an area that you want me to bring my series, please let me know. I will bring it to any library around the city. But back to our topic, and let me begin. We have to work together to succeed. If you want success, then stop thinking about yourself and start thinking, okay, who can I attract to myself to build out, right? If you haven't listened to Napoleon Hill, you need to listen to Napoleon Hill. Don't let the fact that he's an old white man from the 20s fool you. My man was on it way back then, and if you've ever listened to the Tony Robbins or any of these other people that call themselves, inspirational speakers, then you need to go back to the source. He's from the 20s. I'll put it in the chat. He's amazing, and it will change your mind. It will change your entire life. If you want to have a positive mental attitude, PMA, that's where it came from. If you want to know how to have your mastermind alliance, that's where it came from. So let's be together, because without each other, we will fall apart. And to have the positivity and what it means to me personally, that power comes from knowing that I am going to change somebody's life today, no matter what I feel like. We're going to make somebody's life better. Next up, I would love to have, let me get off this microphone.
Tana Yasu, please, if I said it correctly.
Thank you. Greetings. Good morning. Let me turn my camera on. Hi. Hello, everybody. BOBE in BOBE world. I'm Tana Yasu, and why is it better that we work together? Just that old, I don't know if it's an old ancient African saying, many hands make light work. So, when we're all putting in a little bit, that way we don't get burnt out. People need to take a break. Sometimes people, we're on the front lines of everything. Sometimes you need to, so some folks can retreat while the others keep it going. That'd be so much better than when we have these stars that just come out and they're doing all the stuff and then they burn out and quit or weird stuff happens. So when it's many of us working together, um, using, say, the Black Panther Party as an example and how they had those 10 points. I really think we end up getting scattered when everybody's trying to do everything in all these different ways. I mean, the way they organized worldwide without the internet, hello, 10-point plans, like everybody, let's just focus on that. And then just back that up real quick. I even think of when we were enslaved and we all had the same chief aim goal. You mentioned Napoleon Hill. I think that's one of the things he uses. You get that chief aim goal, freedom, emancipation. And we all, I think, when I think about it, like I think that's the only time we really, really were able to really work together as one for that chief aim goal of freedom. And we did that. I wish we could just repeat that on all these next things. Now it's just like cluster stuff everywhere. But anyway, many hands make light work. The other, living myself, living powerfully, for me is just, being true to myself. To thy own self be true. How many times have I or we get caught up in other people's business, other people's drama, other people's situations, and then when you're done pouring into them and fixing all their stuff up, they out the door, and you're like, okay, hell, what about me? Like, girl, look, we on vacation now. Everything good. Thanks for the help. And they gone about their business. So, to thine own self be true. So, when the calls come for help and all this and that, sometimes you know how the Lord work. Everybody here is spiritual. Whatever it is, spiritual too, that's what you do. But we're spiritual people. So sometimes, the universe will put the trials and tribulations in your life for you to grow. And make you a little uncomfortable, so you have to move out of some stuff. So I'm saying that to say, to thine own self be true. And when people call you with an issue, sometimes the best thing you can do is let them handle it for themselves and let God work that out for them. Because as long as you keep putting your hand in the way, then the universe can't do its work. And then you're just going to suffer for it at the end anyway. And it's going to be all your fault. You dropped some nuggets, girl. I'm typing in the chat as fast as I possibly can. You are all amazing, David. I started writing yours, and then I had to go transition to the chat. So Douglas, go back. I didn't start typing in the chat when you were talking, but I wrote down the power that you have to affect others. And you know what you need to improve. So if you can go fill in the chat for me, because I didn't start typing that early with some of the things you said, that would be great. But Tana, Sue, sister, you dropping the nuggets. Everyone has just been amazing. Thank you. She said, let God have his way. Love it, Tana. Who would you like to go next? I will choose DeMarlin, Sisney.
Yes, hello. My name is Day Marlin, like night and day, and Marlin like the fish. But please feel free to call me D. That's perfectly fine. So to answer your first question, what does better together look like to me? I honestly feel like it boils down to three things. Coalition, right? So getting together, right? Collaboration and actively listening in that collaboration. And then creation, right, from that. I feel like myself, I too have a consultancy. I was at Amazon Web Services, the cloud computing side of Amazon, for about 2.5 years, and have since launched my own media consultancy that deals with underrepresented businesses primarily, but dealing with the B and BIPOC is what I focus on. And what I've done, right, is strategically partner with organizations. I don't know if we can name drop, but I'm perfectly fine with doing that when we're open and honest here.
Yes,
organizations like, the Urban League and William Grove Center and Black Dot, the Seattle Black Business Network, Women in Business Expo Group with Carmel Baez, right? And what I found is that individuals or organizations pioneer for this idea of entrepreneurship, but never take the time to collaborate and figure out effectively kind of together, right, and attack the problem together in the community. Everything is very segregated, right? The options are there, the different things are there, but everything is very segregated. And me, I'm a big data person. And last year, 1% of Black-owned businesses got venture capital funding here in Seattle. Why is that? Right? 300,000 tech jobs have came to Seattle, but only 2.7% of those have been comprised of Black people. I'm really trying to understand and dig deep here. And there are, again, programs out there to educate, to provide opportunity, but they are oftentimes segregated. So really to answer that question, what does better together look like? It's coalition. It's putting pride aside. It's actively listening and collaborating, right? And then creation, right, of projects or products or services that can help our Black community. And then kind of going into the next thing that you had mentioned, I really feel like that living powerfully boils down to making impactful choices based on the community and for the community, but that all boils down to the three things that I had mentioned earlier, and are you willing to do those? But yes, I definitely feel like that that it is possible, but again, just setting history aside, because I've had these conversations and oftentimes it boils down to history or issues like that, but just setting pride and history aside and being open and willing to collaborate.
Y'all, the nuggets. I see heads nodding. Day, Marlon. Thank you so much. Please put your information in the chat. I would love to bring you in. I can see some immediate collaboration opportunities with you. So please put your information in the chat. Matter of fact, we bring you into our next Better Together series. So please join us by all means. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, please put your information in the chat because you're sparking something. Each of you are sparking something in others. I'm watching heads nodding. So put your information in the chat to create an immediate way for anyone to follow up. Phone number and email and name will be ideal. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Dave, Marlon, who would you like to hear from next?
Yes, so I would like to hear from Lisa.
One of my favorite people. Lisa, you see the prompt?
Hey, Dee, thank you. And it's really great to be here. It's been like weeks since I've been here, and I've really missed this conversation. I love that African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I just don't know any better way than to, that be humble and acknowledge that you don't have all the answers and go together. Like, yeah, you've all said that wisdom already. I also just believe in the power of conflict. Not as a bad thing, but when you have a lot of very powerful energies moving, there is sometimes conflict, and that's okay. And finding that where that can move together, you can't do that without communication. And so I don't know how that all fits in here, but resolving conflict has been good medicine for me when it comes to collaboration. Thanks.
Love that. Thank you.
Has Douglas already gone?
He has.
Okay, and Jennifer Ness?
No, she has not.
Okay, Jennifer Ness.
About time y'all called on me.
You look so fancy in that beautiful space. Gee,
Right.
Merry Christmas.
So So I heard Marlon say collaboration, and that is, I'm gonna try to dance on some topic because I'm so happy, so happy, so happy. No, collaboration to me is one of the most powerful ways that we can be better together. I think sometimes when we have those big I, little U's, or we feel like because I have this title or this position and you don't, and all of that energy around that, it really squashes things that can be really truly beautiful. And so that is what I've seen and experienced as the most powerful thing, just collaborating. And collaborating with folks that you normally wouldn't collaborate with, or there might be, almost like what Lisa said, there might be some sort of conflict there, so you might be like, yeah, no, I don't roll with you like that. But as soon as you figure out and get beyond that piece, you will be surprised at how beautiful things can really be. And so I believe that collaboration is how we are better together. And living powerfully to me is just showing up in my authentic way in spaces where I feel able to be authentic. So if I'm not able to be myself and be authentic, then that's not living powerfully. That's living in the box. That's trying to succumb to what other folks want me to be instead of just being me. You know, like Tracy was telling me earlier, she was like, "I'm overboard and extra." And guess what? I love all that overboard and extra. So if I wanted her to be something different, then I'm not allowing her to live powerfully, you know? So that's what living powerfully is to me. I can come in, I can be who I am and be accepted and loved and valued and honored. But when I come into a space and that's not the case, then I can't successfully live powerfully. So that's my 2 cents. I do wanna share something really quickly if you will allow me, Tracy.
Please.
We have talked about a few events, and I want to make sure that everyone on here knows about the BOBE calendar. And it looks like a lot of folks do. But I just want to pull up the BOBE calendar real quick because I'm not sure that everybody is aware. So on the BOBE website, which I'm going to share the screen right now, on the BOBE website, there is a calendar, and this is a community calendar. So any and everybody should be putting your events here. And as you can see, there's quite a few events here. But I was listening to some of the things that's going on this weekend, and I'm like, oop, I don't see those on the calendar. And this is why last night alone, I had 4 different conflicts. I have to pull up my calendar to see what they were. But there was 2 things in Tacoma, no, 3 things in Tacoma, and 1 thing in Seattle. So there was the celebration of dreams. There was the networking event for the Black Collective, and there's a new Black investment network that started. The kickoff meeting was yesterday, and I was supposed to go golfing. So, anyways, there was 4 things, 4 conflicts, and I'm only one person, so I couldn't split myself in half. But because we have this community calendar, a lot of us can go in when we're starting to plan things. Oh, there's 5 things. There was another thing in Seattle with Tracy. So 5 things going on last night, and I'm only one person, and I love to support. I love to go to all of these different things. Oh my goodness, 6 things. The urban impact. That's what I'm saying. It's just too much. Too much. So if we can possibly use this community calendar, especially us as BOBE, who's coming here pretty regularly, to see what things are there and try to plan our meetings accordingly, and also make sure that our meetings are there so folks can actually come to our meetings. And these are hyperlinked, so it's not like you're just throwing something on the calendar. They can like literally click on here and go to your event and register. So I just registered for this happy hour that was on there, and I just registered for David's meeting also. So my point is, let's try to use that community calendar so that we are not scrambling trying to figure out what's going on, but also that everybody can see your meeting and see what's going on, so we can all have that in one place.
Jennifer, can you put that in the chat, please? Can you put in the chat for us real fast?
I would definitely put in the chat. It's the BOBE website is bobe-wa.org, and it's right in the middle. But that direct link right there is for any event. So I'll put both of them in the chat. But one of the I'm sorry. Oh, God bless me. One of the reasons why.
Yes, bless you.
One of the reasons why BOBE came together was to have this community calendar. Was to make sure that we're not overlapping and doing all this crazy crap. So let's use the resources that we have. Okay, I'm done. And I'd like to hear from Tamika. Thank you.
Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you. Take care. I think I always go back to the construction world. It takes a lot of people to build a house, a building. Different tools, different ideas, different trades. So I always think better together. You can do it alone, but that's exhausting. Nobody wants to do that. That's mentally, physically, emotionally on your days when you're like, I need to get this done. Who can I lean on? Better together. Just everybody, all hands on deck, and let's get this done to find the end solution. And I think walking in your power is the universe will send you different energies who will help you. I've been learning that just ask and network, and that way you don't feel the burnout because you're like, hey, I got this person working on this, or I think working in your power, walking in your power, all that will be attracted to you, especially when you're moving with good intent. Moving with good intent always, that you will, I have learned that the whole crowd of people will huddle over you and help you. And I think that's very powerful. And that's what's been working for me. So thank you, everybody. And I'd like to pass it to Green Shirt, who just hopped on, that says iPhone.
Green Shirt, you know who she's talking to. Dre! What's up? Dr. Dre! Dr. Dre, did you see what the, you probably don't know what the prompt is today, so, but we've had this conversation, so you're going to love this. The prompt for today is, why is it better that we do this work together? And two-part prompt. And what does living powerfully mean to you? So why better together? And what does living powerfully mean to you?
Well, one of the most powerful entities in the world besides water is culture. The establishment of culture. I think I mentioned in the last meeting that that's how other cultures remain prominent, remain together, is the establishment of a central beacon of thought, a central beacon of heart, central beacon of focus. And I think when you take a bunch of Africans who are from different countries, different dialects, eat different food, think differently, you stick them on a boat and sail them to America, allegedly, I think the culture becomes survival from there forward. And I think as a culture amongst ourselves, I hear a lot of, we gotta collaborate. We have to collaborate. But I just don't think we're a monolithic society like that, because we've been removed from our own culture. We've been disconnected from our own culture. I think pulling back the conversation, I think we'll get to economics, but I don't think we'll ever get to economics if we don't start with family. If we don't start with the true essence of what together means and have those real conversations. For example, I mentioned to an African woman probably 2 weeks ago, just in passing, hey, I did my ancestry and I'm 95% Nigerian. One of the most powerful things she said to me in that moment wasn't the fact that she tried to relate to me, because she was also Nigerian, born in Nigeria, from there, spoke the language, still live the culture within her own household. The first thing she said to me was, okay, so twice a month you're going to come to my house and you're going to have dinner. You're going to sit and eat with my grandmother. You're going to sit and eat with my mom. And we're going to feed you fufu. That right there is the essence of culture. Before we get to the economics, before we get to the money, before we get to the organizations, before we get to the dollar signs, we need to, as Black people, pull back and just have down-home conversations about how do I sit across the table from you and have it? How do I sit across the table from you and love you? How do I sit across the table from you and feed you? How do I sit across the table from you and acknowledge you? I think we skip over that stuff and get into the whole repetitive conversation about how we collaborate, and we don't go back to basics. We don't go back to what got us here in the first place. So that's just, to me, how we move better, or how we live more powerfully. Is, another story I'll share with you is I had a very prominent CEO of I'm not even going to say it was in this state, but they were over an organization, the Chamber of Commerce, that expressed to me, concerns about, not being able to navigate in the world of, staying in, I'd say, intact with her own Blackness while trying to appease the many white people around her, and not sacrificing herself and her own dignity and the other Black men and women around her. And, I had to explain to her, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. Living powerfully is understanding that sometimes you have to give up that power. Not everything is for you, and not everything is something that you're gonna be in control of. I explained a story about my wife, who's now the political director of Teamsters, who gets death threat calls from white people from Central Washington because of the way she handles policy and how she's not for one union or the other, she's for the worker. And, but the thing that protects my wife the most, how she lives powerfully, is that the entire time she's been ridiculed and dragged through the mud, and, people talk mess about her being in a position, she's taken the time to uplift and empower other Black women around her. That's how you live powerfully. It's not gaining power for yourself, but seeing how much you can empower others around you. And I explained to this person that was over this organization, is, if my wife walked into a meeting right now with a bunch of white folks and told them all F you, she's built herself up with enough social equity that there's other Black men and women around her that would catch her if she fell. So that's how you live powerfully, by living your life empowering others and seeing how much you can uplift others, because in the end, it will always be a platform that you can stand on yourself. And that's all I gotta say.
Drop the mic, Jay. That was beautiful. Y'all, all I can say is I am grateful once again to be in this space. I'm looking at a few voices that have not been heard. Another one of my favorite people. I see Miss Tiara Bonds is on the call. Tiara, would you like to share why is it better together, and what does living powerfully mean to you?
Of course. After Dre, though, I don't know.
Right.
So better together, it's a necessity. It's not something that we can choose to do or not do. We have to do it. And the biggest reason is because when we do things together, we have an increased impact. So there's only so much we can do on our own, like so many have shared this morning, but this shared mission and goal is bigger than us, so the solution is going to take all of us. And it's not, regardless of what we're talking about, it's not just certain communities, it's all of us as a whole, as a people. And when we do work on those solutions together, it allows us to drive the positive change that we want and have lasting effects. And so for me, those lasting effects can address all areas, but for me, my passion is the racial wealth gap. So when we come together and work on these, different problems, and we all have the same end goal, it allows us to address those things on a much, much deeper level.
And then living powerful, which I love that. It means taking charge, which is the name of my company, Take Charge Consulting. It allows us to, recognize the issue at hand, identify the changes that we want to make that decision, and then take charge and do it. It's being confident, it's being proactive, and with kind of an overall goal to create the lifestyle that you deserve. So how do you want your life to look? And what is it that you need to do in order to get that? And then also, aside from the boldness of living powerful, I think there's a huge component of living powerful being in flow. So connecting those two. And when I say flow, I'm talking about, a state of being that you're able to experience things. You're able to be immersed and engaged and be present. So it's, also feeling all of the emotions and being okay with that, whether they're good or bad. And then, being able to experience deep enjoyment, experience pleasure. And when you're doing that, you're taking charge, creating the lifestyle you want, also being in flow and experiencing emotions. I think that creates an influence for the younger generation, for our peers, for our parents, our grandparents. It allows us living powerfully, allows others to do the same.
Oh. Wow. Love it. Who would you like to hear from next, Tiara? I think we're down to Priscilla, and I see Sean's outer.
Priscilla's here? Let's do Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Thank you so much. You guys are really giving powerful nuggets. And
Sorry, Priscilla. She just gave an amazing pitch last night. Amazing at Sharks at the Beach. It was so nice to meet you in person, Priscilla.
Oh, thank you so much, Tiara. Appreciate
Congratulations.
it. Thank you.
I love it. So y'all get ready, Priscilla, real quick. Before, after Priscilla, I don't see anyone else on the call. We're going to go to announcements, things that are coming up. So start putting them in the chat. Get ready, and we will start with announcements after that. Thank you, Priscilla.
Yeah, so why I believe that we are powerful to better together is because if we hold hands and get to focus on a goal on getting each other better, we will easily achieve it instead of everyone saying it's I'm on my own and you're on your own. And I believe the Bible says that one can chase 1,000 and two can chase I think it says two can chase 3,000. So if one can chase 1,000 and two can chase 3,000, how about if we all get together and move forward with a certain goal? That means we can grow, we can motivate each other, we can help each other grow, and then that will also make our community better. Because it's always good to go around people, to go to places with where people look like you, and I get to buy things from the Black community. It feels so at home. It my spirit feels really good. So better together means we are stronger together, and we will do great things together. And then living powerfully to me means don't sit on your gift. Don't sit on what you have. What is it that God put in you that you can give out to the community and become that powerful person in the community? Your gift, with your gift, you can motivate people, you can build the community just the same way with the urban impact. They took us and they built us, and we became even more confident. We were little babies when we started, but we are getting to be giants. So when you put your gift out there and you build other people in the community, other communities will not see us like they will change the mindset that they see the way they see us. We will prove them wrong. So that's what I think.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much. I think Walter, it looks like I think you're the last person who hasn't gone. Would you like to share as well? What does better together mean to you? Why is it better that we do this work together? What does living powerfully? What does that mean to you?
Better together, historically, or in the existence of humankind, we have never, as a human species, don't care about your race. No human being has ever done anything by themselves of significance. Anything. You can think of all the great accomplishments human beings have done. Name one that one human being did by themselves. Nothing. The pyramids weren't built by themselves. I'm sure the first wheel, one guy didn't invent the wheel by himself. And you think all the great buildings, all the great generals, Abraham Lincoln didn't free slaves by himself. They say Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Well, he didn't do it by himself. So nothing has ever happened in human history done by a single human being. So, and what does living a powerful life mean to me? It means, I've heard someone say this already, but being accepted for who you are. Living your life exactly how you perceive yourself. Not letting someone else determine who you are. You know who you are, and you make decisions in your life based on your own morals, your own vision. That's how you make your decisions. That's living powerfully. Knowing, I guess my parents taught me this. They said, if you have an education, you need to use it. That's your power. It's your education. So when you know you have something to give and you know who you are, you need to use it. You need to share it. So living powerfully goes right back to what we do together. Living powerfully means sharing what you do, what power you have, what expertise you have, understanding that and using it in a group setting, collaboratively. So, is there anyone else I need to pass it on to, or we need to start making it now? That is the last person. Did anyone not go? Did fireflies? Just fireflies? It says fire. No, there's a box. So I think we're good there. So okay. I put two things in the chat. We talked previously about, several of you mentioned mindset. So this idea of living powerfully is about us creating a space for us to truly drive change together. So I like to share things to Miss Lisa. Can you guys see my screen here? This is a flyer for what we talked about. And Walter, all of y'all are in because all of y'all have said that this was important to you. So all of y'all are in. Anytime you show up, want to bring your voices forward. So we're calling it Mindset Mondays and Thoughtful Thursdays that are part of this series. The series is called Living Powerfully. Scale up your business and scale up your life. It's going to be Mindset Mondays at 9 a.m., Thoughtful Thursdays at 3 p.m. in June. And I mentioned these pitch competitions up with prizes totaling $200,000 through the National Black MBA. But there's also the Business Impact Northwest pitch competition. There's the National Black Business pitch competition. There's a lot. But even if you never want to be in a pitch, we all need to be able to tell our stories. So this Living Powerfully series, it's a master class and a workshop series called Scale Up Your Business and Scale Up Your Life, will be half mindset training in the first half. The second half will be very specific training around a business plan. And really, that it's called the business canvas. It's really just about telling your story, being clear on it, being tight on it, doing this work in community. You're 500% more likely to complete a task when you do it in community. So being clear, whatever that thing is, right? Putting yourself in a space where you're able to drive change. That's what this is really about. So I got some amazing experts that are going to be there. Dr. Casey Winans, who's actually one of the Winans, who is the personal coach. She's done like Jill Scott and all these famous people. So she's actually going to be with us for the first Mindset Monday and in general. She's like a man, count me in. So it's exciting, guys. So I'm going to say if you're interested in doing any goal, what we're doing is we're creating this regular space thanks to WSMA, a small grant from Lisa at WSMA. Living Powerfully is coming to you
as a part of an opportunity to truly change the status quo. Because this is about transformation. Once you do anything with a level of regularity and it becomes who you are, if you truly transform, you never go back. So if you used to procrastinate, if you used to do some things, we want to work on mindset. How do we change that? We all have limiting beliefs. How do we change those limiting beliefs so that you can live powerfully? That's a process that I'm certified to do. I'm bringing up other experts. This is what we do. So we're going to have people that are there to talk about mindset and business. And I'm super excited. That's it. I'll stop sharing. Anyone else have anything they want to share? Yes, Douglas.
As usual, got a black business to support, y'all.
Yes.
Kashila Apparel and Designs. I know a lot of people have weddings for the summer season. We've got kids with proms coming up. All of those things. Kashila is a seamstress and a tailor, and she does custom dresses. She also has a fashion line for people that are survivors of cancer and have body modification as a result. Maybe things don't quite fit normally as they walk into a store, right? And so she has a very big heart and a passion for that specific work. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. As a Ventures client, she's been with us since 2006, and she just received a very large check through one of our lending programs. So she's expanding her business, and we're really excited for her and to see where she goes on from here. So if you have a chance, please, at the very least, go to Google, go to Yelp, and just rate and review her. And if you've got a need for some tailoring or some a new gown or something, because gala season is upon us, y'all, please go check out.
It is. Yes, I love it. Anyone else have anything else they want to share? The upcoming events. What do you guys have planned for this weekend?
Well, this weekend there's going to be an event at the Freight House Square, which is connected to the Amtrak station in Tacoma. So Saturday, my wife is going to do like a drop-in paint thing, but that afternoon she's going to do a pump and paint. And Sunday there's going to be a sip and paint that's going to be from like.
Put the details in the chat because we only have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
So we want people to be able to join. So put the link in the chat, y'all. Grab this stuff out of the chat. Paul always introduces some amazing things. Lisa, I see your hand is up.
I had more, but that's okay. All right.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
I said I had more to share, but that's okay. It's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I was punctuating, positively punctuating.
No, I know I ramble. Sometimes I need to shut down.
Because people are gonna drop exactly at 11 o'clock. I know I'm gonna end this call very quickly.
Okay, that's fine then. Because
I got an appointment. I'm supposed to be at 11 o'clock. So put it in the chat.
Okay. All right.
Please, do you want to share?
I don't have a thing to put in the chat yet, but we're bringing together folks who can help people relieve themselves of their student loans. They're working for nonprofits. It's going to be on the 13th at TA Tuesday. I'll have more information soon.
Do you have an email address or a way to connect with you? Yes. Lisa? I'm putting everybody else's information in the chat, but didn't get yours.
Marlon, if you walk into downtown Seattle and shout, Lisa! It'll pop up. I swear. There she is.
And y'all, there's one other thing I wanted to share. I'm actually part of another group that's in Tacoma, the Tacoma Pierce County Black Collective. I'm the co-chair of their economic development committee, and the focus area is around Black business and Black wealth. And so we're just been bringing forward and optimizing a $200 million community development fund. So we talked about it in our last session on Thursday, so go check it out on my social media. But it was part of our Better Together Empowerment Series to the National Black NDA, another thing that was funded by NISA. And so us being able to bring that content, we actually watched the recording. We talked about this $200 million community reinvestment fund. We talked about the pitch competitions. We also talked about engage very explicit marketing and sales automation expertise. And for the next 30 days, we're going to be not just talking about these things. We're going to be focused on these in the Mindset Monday and the Powerful, the Thoughtful Thursdays, and this Living Powerfully series. We're saying here's the opportunity, but also here's a space for you to activate. So we're going to create, if you want to write a grant, you want to do a lot, whatever that is, you want to create a space, all you got to do is show up. Show up for yourself with a level of regularity. There's 6 weeks to this Living Powerfully series. Mindset Monday is about getting your mind right and then activating. There'll be space for you to go off. We're gonna have a separate Zoom. You can go off in rooms. You can work together. It's better together. So we're gonna create that space for you to do this work together. I am super excited. That's our. So we're gonna do that throughout the week, and then on 6/22, we're gonna have a bringing people back to tell their stories, and we're gonna have a wellness, wealth, and outer transformation session with Sabrina Jackson Gandy and Dr. Casey Whiting. So super exciting, y'all. Show up for yourself, and let's show up together. That's how we live powerfully. Thank you. Any final words? I love you, everybody.
Have a good
Capture
weekend.
the chat.
Have a good Memorial weekend.
Stay safe.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, take a moment to capture the chat. I literally documented about 75% of all those beautiful things that were shared. I think I captured about 75% of them. So I would say capture the chat today. I'm copying it right now. Thank you so much.
And I've been recording this, so I'll put it up on my YouTube channel. And I'll email you the link.
You wanted to share, Paul? I guess this is Afterflow.
Afterflow. Well, I'm recording the screen, so I can't switch out to go to Chrome, whatever, to get the links. But I'm also recording it, and so I'll upload it to my YouTube channel, and I'll email you and email Jennifer the link to it.
Was there more you wanted to share, though, since you're recording it? Go ahead and capture it now. I apologize.
That's okay. I put it in the chat because I know that this weekend there's going to be something at Freight House Square in Tacoma. And then I'm trying to get my wife and Melinda Revine on Day with Trey on Converge Media. Melinda is the program manager for the Meeting for Movies project. Meeting for Movies is a nonprofit, and they do screenings that are free up and down like the I-5 corridor, but here in Tacoma and also in Seattle and on the islands. And yesterday they did a movie about economy, and then they've done movies about storming the boulevard back in the 70s when nobody was working at Vegas. There are a bunch of African-American female basically that were not house workers but maids and stuff, and they shut down Vegas because they wanted to get equal rights. And it's all the same time that anyway, if you go to meaningfulmovies.org, you'll see the calendar and see all the stuff that's going up. So anyway, have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.